Hey guys, so this is going to be a read for the general collective. I'm going to get started here like I always do with my oracle cards, and then I'll build on the read with my tarot deck. So universe, what messages do you have for the general collective today? What insight, what guidance can you give us on our path in life? Maybe some warnings, some affirmations. I feel like they're starting to jump around, so I should go ahead and get started. That's usually her cue to me. We have firm foundation, rest and rejuvenate, mental conflict, partnerships and alliances, and disruption. So I'm feeling like from just the cards that I've got so far, we're going to be speaking about a bit of self-care here. I think that's what the rest and rejuvenate is going to speak towards. Processing emotions and really looking after yourself, doing the work to set a firm foundation for the future. And this might speak to relationships as well. So this might be dealing with old hurts and healing old wounds. So when the next one comes along, we'll have a much better chance of success in that relationship. I pulled Prosperity Begins, and when I look at the card, I see the two hands. I'm very much drawn to that. And so that speaks to me of prosperity in love. I have the chakra that speaks to your emotions, your creativity, your desires. The Destiny card, fertility, and shadow. Yeah. So this read is definitely speaking to me. These cards are speaking to me so far. I'm doing some self-care, some self-healing, and maybe a bit of self-learning, and deciding what's really important to you in life and what would make you happy. Because I think once you've decided that, it allows the universe to bring it into your life. And for me, the Destiny card is speaking of this is something that you were meant to learn. This is a path that you're meant to be on. I pulled the Death card, and the Death card tends to represent a transition. One chapter of your life ending, and then starting a new one as well. The Eight of Pentacles speaks of learning. And they usually call it the Apprentice card, so it tends to refer to somebody going back to school. But in this case, I just feel that it's referring to the life lessons that you're going to be learning here and learning about yourself. Because I think this is going to be a process for you, figuring out what's going to make you happy, and being able to let go of negativity from the past that I feel is making you feel burdened, overburdened, and weighed down. I have the Temperance card, and she represents finding a balance between logic and emotion, because sometimes we find that we get stuck in our negative feelings and emotions, and they tend to drive a negative thought pattern as well, and it's hard to break free of that. So if we can set our emotions aside and really look at our situation just from a logical point of view, sometimes that's all we need, is just that fresh perspective, and we're able to see our way through to a new future, to new choices. I have the Six of Swords, and she represents moving from stormy waters into calmer waters. So to me, it speaks of this being a positive transition, even though it may be rough now, that when you come out the other side of it, you're going to have much more happiness and inner peace. That's what it says to me, inner peace. And I pulled the Queen of Cups on top of that card, and the Queen of Cups to me in this read speaks of emotional abundance and happiness. And I think that that's where you're going to get to at the end of this. I have the Empress, and in this, I see the word nurturing when I look at her, and I think it's nurturing yourself and caring for yourself. The Hermit here, I believe, also speaks of that introspection and that self-learning and really thinking, taking that time to think about things and think about your life and where you're at and where you want to be, and really deciding on that. I have the Two of Pentacles. You can see it looks like he's juggling. And for me, he speaks of a balance. You finding a balance in your life where you just feel happier. Because sometimes we get stuck in a spot of we're doing what we have to do on a day-to-day basis, but it doesn't really fulfill us emotionally. And the happiness just isn't there. It just leaves us feeling a bit empty. And I feel like that's where you're at as well. And so you're going to have to figure out how to find that balance between what you need to do and what you want to do. So you're still doing what you need to do. You're still able to make ends meet. You're still able to meet your obligations and go through life, but you're doing it in a way that's more rewarding to you personally and emotionally. I also have the World card, and to me, the World card is a good omen. So she speaks of positive manifestations coming your way. And to me, I think you're really going to see these when you come out the other side of this journey. I got the Four of Cups, and it tends to represent a feeling of indifference. And I think that's how you're feeling about, and it might be like a current job that you're stuck in where you don't care. You really don't care about what goes on there. It just doesn't matter that much. It is not fulfilling, and you really couldn't care less. And I feel like that's part of what's driving all of this as well. I have the King of Swords. I'm not sure where he fits in. Where he fits in right now, but I don't get a good vibe off of him. I also have the Tower card, which speaks of something coming to a disappointing end. And I almost wonder if this wasn't the trigger for some of this. You know what, I'm getting a vibe of there's been a few different things going on here. I feel like you're stuck in a job that you really don't care about. I feel like something else has come to a disappointing end in your life, and it could be a relationship, but I think there's a few different things that you just feel like you need to change. They're not going right for you. They're not what you want in your life. I have the Moon, which tends to represent things that are still hidden from you, truths that you're going to have to find out. They're not always positive ones. And sometimes you got to go hunting for them. And I almost wonder, I feel like it ties into this King of Swords. I'm just not entirely sure how. Okay, I'm feeling like maybe that was a relationship. And maybe the Tower was the disappointing ending of that relationship, and you had to go hunting for truth. So you had to really push this person and go out of your way to find out what was going on. Now, I'm not entirely sure what they had hidden from you, but they weren't being honest about something. And I think once you got to the bottom of it, that ended the relationship. So I do have the Eight of Wands, and I feel like in this it represents communication. I have the Nine of Swords, and she tends to speak of being trapped in negative thoughts, negative emotions, and having trouble finding your way out of it. So again, I feel like she ties into the Temperance card and being able to set emotion aside and look at your situation just from a logical point of view. I have the Magician card. The Magician card tends to represent having all the tools that you need to be successful in life. But the vibe that I'm getting off of him in this is that through this process, and I think he speaks to the Destiny card as well, is that through this process, you will gain all the tools that you need to be successful in life. I think this is This is a big learning lesson for you. This is a huge personal growth process for you, and it will take you to where you need to be in life. I have the High Priestess, and she tends to speak of things that are still unknown that you will find out along the way when the time is right, and they're not necessarily negative things. I feel a very positive vibe coming off of her, and I get the impression that she speaks to this personal growth and this process that you're going through and finding out some things about yourself. I get the words learning to love yourself. I get the word respect. I get the word confidence. So I feel like as you're able to heal from all of this, as you make this change in your life and push towards happiness and fulfillment, I think you're going to start to see all these little changes in yourself as well, where you just become a more confident, happy person. I have the Nine of Cups as well, and the Nine of Cups tends to represent emotional fulfillment, and I do believe that that's what you're going to get from this process as well. And the job is looking up as well. I got the Ace of Pentacles, which tends to speak of new beginnings, and it usually represents finance. I also have the Seven of Pentacles right beside it, which speaks of an abundant harvest. And sometimes in a read, I get a different vibe off of them, that they're speaking more to an emotional side of things. But when I look at these cards, I just see the word money. So this job that you really couldn't care less about, things are going to be turning around. So whether you're looking for work somewhere else, because I think that's going to be part of your process too, is finding a career that you can actually be excited about going to work every day. Something that you're going to feel passionate about and is going to feel fulfilling. And I think not only is it going to be fulfilling emotionally and personally, I think it's going to be fulfilling financially as well. I have the Six of Pentacles, and he can speak to an even give and take. But in this card, when I see him, I see the word abundance and generosity. And I think this is what you're going to achieve with this new career, this new path in life, being happier. I think you're going to have an abundance and you're going to want to share it with others. I have the Six of Cups, which tends to represent sometimes they call it a blast from the past card. Someone or something from your past coming back. I feel like the Six of Pentacles ties into it. That generosity, like maybe it's going to tie into family who's not in as good of a position as you're going to be, and you're going to be able to help them out. That's what it speaks to me of. I have the Seven of Swords here. Tends to represent something being taken from you, or a situation where you feel like you've been treated unfairly or something's been taken unfairly. In this, to me, he represents sort of where you were sitting in things and feeling like it was unfair. Like maybe it was this relationship. It might have been your job too, because you think your job stinks. But having to deal with prying honesty out of this person as well, and you just felt like everything was unfair. You're not where you want to be in life. Why are you stuck here like this? But the fact that you've decided to do the work and to make a change, I think completely changes the tone of your life. It completely changes the direction and where you're headed and how your life is going to wind up. I have the Star card, and she speaks of hope. And so that's what I get in this, that this change is the hope for a bright new future. The Three of Pentacles also speaks of something that you're working towards. You're starting to see the payoff of it. And I think as you progress along this journey, along this path of change, you're going to see those positive things manifesting for you along the way. Not just financially, but emotionally, personally as well. You're just going to notice that you're becoming a happier person. And that I think your outlook is going to change. So you're going to go from feeling like everything sucks to being like, oh, this is great. Oh, I can't wait to do that. Oh, this is exciting. And you'll be like, oh, when did all these positive feelings start? And it's going to be because you're going through this entire change and you're starting to do things for you and that are feeding your soul. And I figured as much, that she was in here somewhere. So the universe card to me represents learning a universal lesson, a universal life lesson. That's what all of this is to me. You were feeling alone and isolated, and kind of like everything was the shits, I guess, right? I don't really want to, but I don't know how else to put it. It was just, it sucked. And in taking your power back and deciding to make a change in your life, I think you're going to find the light. I think that's where that's coming in. That's the direction that you're headed in. Just straight positivity and happiness and success. Like, this is the best thing that could happen to you. And you're going to be a completely different person for this change. You're going to be a better person. You're going to be happier. And you'll get the life that you want. That's what the cards are telling me in this read. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed the read. Take care.